All of the tales of Bluebeard center around the theme of curiosity, be it the curiosity to go to the home of a future husband or enter a forbidden room. The women in Bluebeard all succumb to their curiosity. Curiosity is a driving force in the tales and becomes a character of its own. In the following slides, we will discuss the different agencies of curiosity. Because curiosity is so inherently integral to the female characters in the Bluebeard tales, our presentation focuses primarily on the women's relationship with their own secret chambers. Although we will be covering much of the same material, we hope that differing perspectives will be expressed. For those new to the tale of Bluebeard, the basic story is that of a woman newly married to Bluebeard, or a derivative of the character in different versions of the story. After their marriage, the wife, new to her husband's home, is given the keys and told she may go where she pleases, but not to enter a secret chamber. Upon disobeying her husband, she enters the chamber and discovers the bodies of the other young women. Bluebeard finds that she has disobeyed him and intends to kill her as punishment. The woman is saved by an outside source and alerts others of her husband's crimes. Bluebeard is brought to justice and the wife is set free. As we explore the several different interpretations of curiosity and its role in the tale of Bluebeard, we will also use several analytical articles that center around the tale of Bluebeard as well. We hope this presentation will help you to understand the deeper facets of curiosity and the nature of women. Here we go!
Throughout the semester, our English class has had a common theme: bad girls and fairy tales. We have often talked about how in the past, certain characteristics portrayed by women were seen as bad or looked down upon. However, in the modern era, society has provided readers with the opportunity to be able to examine female characters from a more feminist type of view. In the Grimm's Brothers' two versions of Bluebeard, both The Castle of Murder and The Robber Bridegroom, the authors led the reader to solely focus on the male protagonist of the story, Bluebeard. However, the female heroine, along with the old ambiguous woman who appears in both tales, are actually the main protagonists of the story. Without the infidelity of the relationships sparked by the two women, the forbidden communication between both women, or the curiosity prompted by both women, the story of Bluebeard would simply not exist. Bluebeard has always been used as a tale cautioning against female curiosity. Bluebeard's murderous deeds are played down throughout each version of the story, and his deeds are sometimes blamed on his female victims. As told by scholar Maria Tartar, female curiosity is imbued in sexual meaning, and then regarded as the first step to female infidelity. Although, in the story, the heroine herself is surprised by her inability to resist curiosity, while Bluebeard, who was in a fight against this female sin, blames women as the instigators of the terrible crimes committed by men. However, the critic's moral judgments on the heroine's curiosity cannot mask the fact that the corpses behind the door of Bluebeard's secret chamber serve as an indicator to show that something is dreadfully wrong with Bluebeard and his sexual relationships with women. The dead wives of Bluebeard's previous marriages bear testimony to women's vulnerability in the patriarchal sense, where marriages are arranged by men. However, the bodies are also an indicator which helped to save the heroine's life, along with the word of the old woman. Therefore, the vice of female curiosity is crucial to the heroine's survival. It opens the door to the secrets awaiting the other brides of Bluebeard.
As readers, we have a decision to make as to who we believe to be corrupt within Charles Perrault's Bluebeard. Mark Halpern and Merritt Pugh Davies, two critics that have their own unique perspectives on the story, create a conversation on Perrault's Bluebeard. The biggest point that Halpern makes is his claim that Bluebeard is not the monster that he is sought out to be, and instead, he is what Halpern calls every man. Halpern believes that the reader should focus more on how devious women are and how every man can become victim to her. Although Halpern's claims are valid and backed up by much of his evidence, there is still the question of how Bluebeard's first wife died if Bluebeard is such a good man. His argument is weakened because he requires the reader to forget all about the wrongdoing of Bluebeard as an attempt to strengthen his argument about the danger of women and the cruelty of their intentions. In contrast to Halpern's claims, Davies states that you cannot punish men for having power or women for wanting it. He explains how in the modern period, what is a heroic drive for knowledge in a man is either vicious curiosity and knowledge or madness in a woman for which she must be punished. Davies offers the reader the idea that we can also read Bluebeard as an account of gender trouble, or rather crisis, in which traditional and clearly defined gender roles are undermined. While Davies argues that Bluebeard's wife is corrupt, she's not for two reasons. Knowledge in the story is gendered, and the wrongs of Bluebeard cannot be ignored. Gender knowledge causes the female character to be painted as a corrupt person.
In The Archetypal Interpretation of Fairy Tales, Bluebeard, an article by V. Walter Odejink, he argues Charles Perrault, the Brothers Grimm, and almost without exception all the commentators on the fairy tale consider curiosity to be the reason for the dire consequences of entering the forbidden room. Like Odejink, I believe as well that Bluebeard's purpose is to serve as a cautionary tale against female curiosity. However, curiosity in the tale serves as an allusion to sexuality. By entering the room and discovering her husband's carnage, the wife satisfies her curiosity. These are the literal events of the tale. However, from a more interpretive perspective, these events can be seen differently. Specifically, the wife, having just formed a union with her new husband and being a virgin as almost all female protagonists in fairy tales are, experiences sex for the first time. She is horrified to learn the true nature of man and how it has changed her own. Her horror is depicted in the story as her discovery of the secret chamber and Bluebeard's sexuality as his murderous appetite. The tale warns against sexual activity under the union of marriage. The warning actually applies more to a woman's self-inflicted sexual awakening. Bluebeard tells her not to open the secret door, but she does, discovering her own sexuality. Although Bluebeard may have been the initiator of her sexuality by forbidding her to enter the room, the wife ultimately discovers its contents on her own. Marina Warner, in her article Tales of Bluebeard and His Wives from Late Antiquity to Postmodern Times, calls the wife another disobedient Eve. Both Eve and the wife take what they were forbidden from a mysterious and powerful force, God and Bluebeard, respectively, a point also seen in Odejink's article. Like Eve, the wife is not punished with death, but instead with the loss of her innocence and the knowledge of herself as a sexual being. In many ways, the door to the secret chamber signifies the door out of the life she shares with Bluebeard, which, as described in Perrault's Bluebeard, is a luxurious one marked by a lavish wedding party and life in an ornate castle. Although she is not cast from her new home after Bluebeard's death and her discoveries like Eve from the Garden of Eden, she still loses her independence of having a absent husband, as seen in Bluebeard by Perrault, when immediately following their wedding, Bluebeard departs on an unknown journey, leaving the castle and all its affairs under the care of his wife. Sexuality being a physical change in a woman is also addressed in several tales of Bluebeard. In The Flitcher's Bird by the Brothers Grimm, Bluebeard gives to each of his new prospective wives eggs with instructions always to protect them. As the first two wives enter the room with their eggs, they drop them, causing the blood of the chamber to stain them, alerting Bluebeard to their disobedience. However, the third wife does not listen to Bluebeard and leaves her egg in a safe place when she enters the bloody chamber. Her cleverness in hiding the egg can also be seen as her saving her virginity even while in the midst of male sexuality. Bluebeard's chamber. She is rewarded for her virtue with her life, unlike her unlucky sisters who become two more victims of Bluebeard. Jink also argues this point with his statement, in religious terms, that confrontation is seen as a struggle with sin and evil, the evil being the inherent evilness of Bluebeard, and his sin is taking his yet-to-be wives' virginity and lives. In other versions of the story, the egg symbol is replaced with a key, the Perrault tale in particular. Once the wife has entered the room, she drops the key in the blood of the chamber and later discovers it cannot be removed. This, although expressing the same theme as the egg, is perhaps more phallic and literal in imagery as lock and key. The deeper sexual implications and symbolism surrounding the wife's curiosity cannot be ignored, and although the tale of Bluebeard does depict a very horrifying and extreme tale of a murderous husband, it also carries with it a more common story of a woman's sexual awakening.